Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show, where we help you make the wisest and most profitable decisions. My name is Dr. Gleb Tsipursky. I'm the CEO of Disaster Avoidance Experts, the future of work consultancy that sponsors the Wise Decision Maker Show. And today with me is Stan Meshkov, who is the CEO and founder of UnSpot. And we'll talk about UnSpot a little later. But first, Stan, tell me a little bit more about what you see as the future of hybrid work. So tell me a little bit about your vision of the future.
Oh yeah, the first, Gleb, thank you very much that you invited me here. How I see the future of hybrid work? Actually, the hybrid work is the future because today a lot of company make the decision like, should we keep our people remotely or should we ask everybody to go back to the office? And I do believe that both scenarios are wrong, and companies should give some kind of flexibility to people and say, yeah, you must go to office like a few days per week or few days per month. Like, I don't know, like to say you must be in the office like 5 days per month, per 21 work days, and that's it. And for example, you must be in office at the time, at the days when the biggest quantity of your team in the office as well. And that's it. So I do believe that future will be a smart solution for choosing the days.
And tell me a little bit more about why that's the case. So that comes from how employees feel about hybrid work, right? So tell me a little bit more about how employees feel about hybrid work from your perception of that.
Actually, most of people want to be in the hybrid because they don't want to go to office 5 days per week. It's a little bit stupid today, sorry, because I don't want to spend my time for moving to the office, and that's it. But at the same time, if somebody will live or will work remotely, it's back for creativity, because it's really hard to be creative by Zoom. It's something what happens in group collaboration. When I talk with other people, we are brainstorming, and sometimes it just happens when we are drinking the coffee together. That's it. So I think that it's the most comfortable model for people. Of course, I know that some people would say that we want to be full-time remotely, and that's it. But I don't think that it's so good for everybody.
Well, just to follow up on that, there are a number of very creative companies that are high-tech companies that are moving toward all remote, like Dropbox and so on, that do work in that modality. Amazon is allowing people who want to work fully remotely to work remotely, and that's a very innovative company. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, but at the same time, we will take a look, for example, at the Twitter, the company which tells that you can be fully remote and so on. And right now, when Elon Musk got back to the company and took the management, he said, sorry, guys, but it doesn't work for effectiveness. Sorry, you must go back to the office. And that's what happens. Apple said, like, you must be in the office 2 days per week, which we will say to you, and 1 day when you the day that you will choose, and that's it. Facebook announced that they will also cut off some offices and implement the sharing desks. And yes, right now a lot of when COVID started, companies said, yeah, we are good for remote, and that's it. But in a few years, they see that it's not so effective. It's just doesn't make sense to lose the business, to lose the competitive advantages because of that. So I do believe that over the next year we will hear a lot of messages from big companies like, guys, you need to go back.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily use Twitter as a good example of a well-run company. So maybe we should put that aside, but I understand what you're saying. So let's talk a little bit about hybrid work. What are the challenges in implementing the hybrid work model? Let's say the top 3 challenges.
Top 3 challenges. The first, it's like company must to say kind of rules for people. Like company wants need to choose something, and a lot of companies they just they don't want to. What should they choose? Like, should we just provide to people no rules and say you can get to office any days, or we should say like you must be in office like Apple, for example, 2 days per week, which we will say to you, or we need to say like I don't know, like in Facebook when you need to be few days, but by your decision and so on. And they're so different, much different ways, and company don't know what will be the best for them. That's the first challenge, that you need to think about your business and what will be the best for your business and the best for your teams, and make the decisions. Probably it will be different decisions for different teams, because probably the support team can have different rules than the development team. And that's the first challenge, that company doesn't know what will be the best. It was much easier when everybody was in the office, and the best was like 5 days per week in the office. That's it. That's the first challenge. The second challenge is need to just to provide to people and describe them that they will have shared desks, because actually the payment for real estate and for leasing of that is the second biggest payment in the company after the payroll. And it doesn't make sense to spend so much money for the office when it's half empty all the time. So company must implement the sharing desks and describes it to people that, yeah, guys, right now you will not have a desk only for you, and you will share it with your colleagues. And they must do it, and they must decide which desk will be assigned, because it doesn't mean that everybody should be should have not assigned a desk. Some people will assign, and that's the second biggest implementation thing. Actually, that's it, because it's not so huge changes.
So in terms of how people come in and the days, I've done quite a lot of research on that and work on helping 21 companies transition to hybrid and remote work. And it's very clear that what the best approach is not what Apple is doing, is deciding from the top, but letting teams make their own decision making. So we have extensive research showing that teams that make their own decisions about when to come in are more productive and more engaged. And they end up having, of course, all their team members come on the same days, but also different teams have different needs. Accountants is different than software people. Also, sometimes maybe accountants need at the end of the year to come in, full time just to finish up the cycle. Maybe much of the rest of the year they can work fully remotely because they're individual contributors and they don't do as much collaboration. But so that's something I know a lot about, but I know you know much more about scheduling and desks and hot desking. So let's talk about the challenges and the opportunities in that space. Tell me a little bit more about what are the biggest challenges in Hotdesking when companies naturally, and I did have a number of my clients decide to cut down their office space and have their employees share desks or have co-working offices, co-working spaces of various sorts, which they can occupy for a certain period of time. So tell me a little bit more about what you've seen there.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I absolutely agree that when people have the decision when it comes, he's more productive and he's more involved in the company life, because it's a kind of productivity that everybody loves. The challenge number one is to synchronize the schedule, because nobody wants every day ask the colleagues like, if you will be in the office tomorrow, then the second person message him, you will be in the office tomorrow. If somebody said no, he asks, you will be in the office in the day after tomorrow, or what is your schedule? And it just doesn't make sense. People don't like it. So everybody wants to have the two, when he's able to see which days person just work remotely, which day he works from this office. If company have multiple offices, probably a person wants to see where somebody will be. And maybe one day person just he isn't working, and that's also something that needs to be on the table, and everybody should know about it. So this is the first biggest issue. And the second, it's like sometimes you just want to get the information about the other members who is not on your team. For example, you know that you have collaboration with the other team, which develop something that's related with your area of responsibility, and you want to meet with them and you want to see when they will be in the office. Or probably the new mate and person who just came to the company first time and you want to meet him and introduce him how you work and be one of the first persons who will discuss the work with the new guy. And that's also sometimes that people want to see. And that's always a big challenge because it's means that you need to have the kind of IT system which will help you with everything.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know that UnSpot, the company you founded, does help people deal with these challenges. Tell me a little bit more about UnSpot and how it helps address the challenges associated with the hybrid work model.
Yeah, it has three big parts. The first part is shadow. And it's like you see this shadow for the week and you're able just to say, this day I will be in the office, this day I will not be in the office. Mm-hmm. And when you choose that you will be in the office, the system by artificial intelligence reserves a desk for you based on your previously reservations and so on. And actually, as a lot of people, they don't want to choose, it's just send them the message to email like, this is your previous week, just repeat it. And also it has an interactive map with the all desks, and you're able to see who sits where, because you know that different days, different people can be on the different workspaces. So you can able to see the whole floor map and just choose a different table and sit with somebody near to somebody who you want to collaborate with. And the last part is the meeting room reservation, because also when team collaborates in office, it's necessary to meet the meeting rooms.
Sure.
And it has some kind of external things like iPad device in the front of meeting room where you can see the room is occupied, and just book it by click on the iPad and so on. And also it has kind of analytics for managers, office manager, which says what is the perspective of your office, because probably you have only 20 desks, but system can calculate based on the schedule of people, based on the historical data. Like in this office, you're able to hire 80 more people. And this is a real example because one of our clients has a four-person to one workplace, because people come to office once per week, and that's it.
Now, I know that my clients definitely have challenges with scheduling desks, and one of the things when they have challenges with doing is when a team, so we're talking about team-based approach, usually it's teams that come into the office, not one employee by themselves. So how can a team make sure that its desks are scheduled together without extensive coordination challenges?
UnSpot has the synchronization with Active Directory, and it automatically gets all people and it shows them in different teams. And you can
so there's
see
like a tagging function.
Yes, kind of that, and you're able to see that, for example, this team, four persons of this team will be in the office and two will not be in the office. And the system allows automatically sends a message to persons like, hi Kevin, we all will be in the office, come to us. And also it's able to, for example, to add like, I will be in the office on Friday and I want to have the dinner. And after the work, just go to the bar. And everybody in the team who will be in the same office, they will see this status and they're able to say, hey, I want to go to the bar as well. And people will communicate as well, like have the lunch, because I can say I'm open to go to the lunch today with somebody new from my office, and people are able to connect and go to the lunch.
That's nice. Now, one thing about the meeting room reservation. So we've had in the early parts of the transition to hybrid work, some of my clients had situations where a team would reserve a meeting room, but wouldn't show up because they had other plans, but the reservation still was there and other teams weren't able to reserve the meeting room. And the same thing for desks. But especially it was a problem for meeting rooms because the meeting rooms are less, there are less meeting rooms available than desks. How do you handle those sort of issue where people reserve but don't show?
Oh yeah, thank you. That's a great question. The first, we have the integration with the old tools of company like the Slack or Teams and so on. And when you book the meeting room, company administrator is able to set the check-in strategy. And for example, 15 minutes before the meeting or 1 hour before the meeting, you will just get the notification in the Slack like, hey, you will be in the meeting in 1 hour, confirm or not confirm. If a person don't confirm that, the reservation will be automatically removed. And that's allowed to keep everything updated.
Excellent. Well, those are the questions that I had. As we wrap up our conversation, is there anything that you haven't shared yet? Any last words with which you want to leave our audience?
I want to say that everybody wants to be flexible, productive, and have the great work-life balance. And I want to suggest to everybody have the work-life balance.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for coming in the show. Thank you for sharing your wisdom.
Thank you, Gleb, and I really appreciate that you invited me, and have a great day.
Thank you. And thank you to the audience for checking out another episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you saw the show and make sure to leave a review. It helps us learn how to improve the show and it helps other people discover the show. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show. In the meantime, the wisest and most profitable decisions to you, my friends.